Shanti, a Sanskrit word meaning inner peace, originated in the mid-1970s out of Dr. Charles Garfield's commitment to provide emotional support to people with life-threatening illness. Seattle Shanti, which was founded by volunteers in 1983, was one of the first AIDS service organizations in Washington State and has served thousands of people.
To have an organization like Shanti whose very core is to honor individuals and the differences and diversity and people's process, and that we really are very similar to each other. You know, we live and die, we grow up, we have children, we have relationships, and we get sick. There's a human community, and I think the more organizations that can be a counter to that very ugly kind of picture that you sometimes can see when you look out in this country, I think is real important.
Shanti uses a non-judgmental model of peer support, recognizing that each person is capable of finding their own solutions. Our volunteers and their Shanti partners enter into a relationship where trust and empathy are key components.
The Shanti model basically is it's emotional support, but it's peer support. It's a support where the volunteer is there to support the client. When I say peer support, I mean not one up and one down. The volunteer is there to walk side by side with the client.
You know, the phrase is compassionate listening. So that part of it, compassion, that's the heart listening. And that's the way I would describe it, listening with the heart.
My family's been very, very supportive throughout my life. I have quite a few very good friends who are there who will listen and support me also. But I always kind of held something back from those people, trying to protect them. The Shanti experience for me is one about open communication, being supported unconditionally and without judgment, which is very important to me. It's a real safe thing. It's a safe place to talk about what's going on and to share what's going on in my life. And for me, that has equated to stress reduction, to clarification of issues.
What it's taught me is not to isolate myself. It's taught me trust. It's taught me how to be open and to become a better friend also. Because before this, I had the anxiety of whether or not I was going to be accepted after being, diagnosed. So because I have Heidi to talk to, I have that, that outlet where I can totally, communicate with her about all the little things that go on in my life and to keep some stability with, with employment and other people that I deal with outside of this relationship.
My experiences with Shanti have really changed me in the sense that, first of all, my active listening skills have really improved. My ability to just be silent with clients and with other people in my life while they talk. That's helped a lot.
The Shanti Training acquaints trainees with the Shanti model of support and with some of the challenges faced by the populations that we serve. The Shanti Training also provides us the chance to connect with our own experiences of grief and loss, as well as ways we can relate to one another with intentionality.
Well, the training gave me information about what Shanti was, the Shanti model of non-judgmental listening. It was something, going into the training, I wasn't exactly sure what the Shanti model was, what exactly I would be doing with a partner I was matched with. But after the training, I had a really good sense of what it would be like for me just to be with another person and witness their journey.
I learned a lot about myself, my strengths and my weaknesses, and I also had a clear definition of my limits and my boundaries.
You learn some things that you might not be happy about, that you want to change. I did. I discovered that I need to be more flexible.
And so just kind of setting limits really was challenging for me. And it has continued, although it's gotten a little bit easier.
I think by far I'm a much better listener. I try to hear what someone's saying. I also try to hear what someone is not saying and not to assume anything. I don't give unwanted advice too much anymore. I try not to. The small groups are set up for a group of volunteers to get together to talk about what issues meeting with their client has brought up. And because your relationship with your client is confidential and you can't go to your friends or get on the phone and talk to your mom or someone else about how this person made you feel, that's what the small group is for specifically.
Small group provides a very intimate setting, and it's very secure and it's very safe. And it's really impossible to support someone else unless you're being supported yourself.
And for me, small group is a chance to put aside my work life and to be able to practice being right here and right now and support someone.
And when a group really gels, we're able to give meaningful feedback to one another about the work that we're doing, so that when it acts as supervision, it's easy to go awry, to bring our own issues and our own concerns to the relationship.
It's a really safe, sacred space for me to go to every month that I can share whatever's on my mind, and I know that it's going to be held in that space, and I also know that these aren't people that have a different role in my life. It's a very unique role that they hold. They're my small group members. They're not my family, they're not my friends, they're not my partner. They're really people that are there to support me and listen to me, and I feel that from them.
Since 1999, specially trained Shanti volunteers have provided confidential, one-on-one emotional support to inmates in the King County Correctional Facility. Soon after that, the project expanded to Western Washington State prisons, where Shanti volunteers extend confidential listening to inmates who are dealing with the fears and stigma of incarceration and illness.
One of the goals that I know all of the programs here at Multifaith Work face or are dealing with are people who are in oppressive situations, and I don't think there's anything more oppressive than being in a prison.
I think the rewards for me in doing this work is knowing that someone feels supported. You know, a couple of the clients that I started working with in the jail continue to write letters, and you get some of the most amazing letters. People saying, I never thought anyone would look at me like a real person when I've committed a crime. I mean, that's something that's pretty unique.
There's a connection, even though it's been 2 weeks since I've seen them, that is old shoe in a way. These men are ready to talk. Knowledge is power in a prison, and you don't talk. You're very guarded. And so when I look at my experience in prison, here are unguarded moments. No guards, a closed door. And we can create that space of safety and security and honesty that these men really appreciate.
Since 1994, experienced Shanti volunteers have provided caring support to patients in assisted living facilities. Our focus in this project is to be present for residents of Bailey Boucher's skilled nursing facility, where our volunteers often accompany patients through critical illness and end-of-life issues.
I just come in and we talk, just like old friends.
Not like patient.
Not like patients,
no.
No.
I think sometimes it's the first time they're really seen as people
Exactly.
and not seen as their disease. And
Exactly.
that's a big change. I mean, when I walk out those doors, it's like, man, it's like everything is changed for me. I mean, it's like, it's like I feel the sun, and the sun just isn't out there. It's like I'm alive. I think as an organization, it's really important because I think we deal with a lot of people that are not only isolated, but they're forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
To witness.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be a witness to someone's life. You hear so much about, babies being born and, everybody wants to be there and the whole thing. And it's very interesting because when you talk about the end of life, I know when I'm in a room when somebody is actively dying, the first time it kind of scared me because I'd never been there, but wow, it is an honor to be able to be there with them as they're making that transition, and to, especially if they have no one to let them know that you're not alone.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very, very powerful.
Some Shanti volunteers choose to be matched with a Shanti partner who is seeking support in recovering from addiction to drugs or alcohol. Our recovery volunteers, many of whom have experience with recovery themselves, use Shanti's non-directive model of support, honoring whatever their personal path of recovery might be.
I like the idea of just one person being with another person, it wasn't work, it wasn't something I had to do. I like the idea of being with someone in a place where I've been myself. That be recovery from drugs and alcohol. My Shanti partner and I teach each other to be accepting of people who have different backgrounds and different experiences. And as the result of working through issues and confronting our own misconceptions and prejudices, we've developed more intimacy in our Shanti partnership. My recovery from drug and alcohol addiction began first in the legal system. I got a DUI, and so I was forced into the legal system and 12-step program. And I completed my requirements for the 12-step program, but it didn't resonate with me. I wasn't feeling like my soul was being fed by it. I wasn't feeling like it was a sustainable way for me to want to make changes in my life. And when I found out about Shanti, that resonated with me, really connecting with another person. What was the first meeting like for you?
I was nervous, I was scared, and I felt a little like I wanted to run, and I knew I couldn't.
No.
And I was a little irritated about that. But at the same time, I felt for the first time I can be able to start trusting. We can talk and get some honesty out and not have to hold back. And it gets me out of myself for a while, and gives me a chance to vent and to be able to go do things with each other instead of just sitting at the house.
When I entered into recovery, I made a commitment to myself to live a truthful life. And I found that in our relationship, no matter what we're going through, we're always very real and truthful with each other, even if it's awkward or painful or joyful, whatever the emotion may be.
It's tapping into the circle of we all give and we all receive, and feeling that connection of the humanity, and everyone is receiving from someone and everyone is hopefully giving to someone.
I have a lot of people that are paid to be in my life, but few that choose to be in my life. I've got social workers coming out my ears, and case managers for everything under the sun. So I didn't need another case manager. What I needed was a friend.
This work is so rich. It reminds me about what's real in life. It reminds me of what it is to be a human.